Let's move on to the next step. We want to make the HTTP method post acceptable by the login servlet. Let's go to the login servlet. The login servlet, if we see it right now, it has a do get method and it's doing a request.set attribute. I don't need these anymore because I'm not getting them as part of the get parameters. So I'll remove these two lines of code. So all that the do get is doing right now is it's forwarding it to the login.jsp. So if I run this right now, when I do a login.do, there wouldn't be a problem. It would just be loading up the form that we have created. I entered my name, I would get an error. 405 HTTP method post is not supported. So how do I now get the post method to be supported? Let's get started. So the first thing I'll do is just put in something in here. Instead of do get, it's do post. As simple as that. And instead of redirecting it to the login.jsp, I'll redirect it to something called welcome.jsp. I don't want to redirect it to the same page, login. Once user enters a name and comes in, we would want to send him to a different JSP. I mean, what's the fun in showing the login page again, right? So let's create a new JSP. I'll go to the login.jsp, make a copy of it and call it welcome.jsp. Now we have a welcome.jsp. So let's not worry about everything in here. Title welcome. We don't need a login form, so I'll delete this form, and we don't need the import also. We are not using the import anyway in login as well. I'll go ahead and delete that. Control D is the shortcut for deleting something in Eclipse. Delete the complete line. I have a title, body. I'll just say welcome for now. We want to actually get the name and display in here, but for now we'll just show welcome. So now what I'll do is I'll reload the login.do page and it says enter your name. I'm going to enter Ranga K. Aha, there you go. A welcome page came up. And also if you look at the request which was sent, it's a post request and the form data contained name. So name is inside the form data, but if I look at the header, the request URL does not contain the name. And the request method which is used is post. And the status which came back is 200. That means the request went through fine. So what is happening now is this JSP which we have created, welcome.jsp, is working. In the doPost, we are actually redirecting to the welcome.jsp. That's very good. So that's your first successful form. We have created a form, login.jsp, and in the form, we put the action in as login.do. Thereby, it's sending a post request to this method, and then we directed it to the welcome.jsp. We are not really displaying the name yet, but at least it's going to the JSP. Now, next we would start displaying a name here. How do we add the name? It's the same. We need to just add an attribute, request.set attribute. What's the name we want to use? It's a name, so I'll put it as name. And we need to pick up the parameter from the request. Whether it's a get parameter or a post parameter, there is no difference in how you would get it. It's still a parameter for a request, so you'd still use get parameter. So I'm saying get parameter name and set it as an attribute. I've put it into the request. So the thing came in the form data, the do post accepts it, it set it as an attribute name into the request. Now I need to take the attribute in the JSP and show it. So I now need to take the attribute from the JSP and show it. How do we do that? Do you remember it? It's dollar. We are using expression language, dollar open brace, close brace, and between them the name of the parameter. Welcome dollar name. Is it as simple as that? Let's reload the page. Login.do. If you look at it right now, we are sending a get. When you put an enter in here, when we refresh this page, we are sending a get, and we are just sending login.do. And if you look at the parameters, there would not be anything which are sent. Now I would go ahead and enter Ranga K in here. So I would now press login. You'd see that another request is created, which is post, and it's going to login.do. In the parameters, name Ranga K is sent, and you'd see that the JSP came back with welcome Ranga K. So the response which was sent, if you look at it, contains welcome Ranga K. So instead of the name, we sent in Ranga K. So now I can enter any name. I can say in 28 minutes, let's say, and in welcome in 28 minutes. The good thing is if I press enter also, it would work, and you can look at the request and the response methods. I would like you to take a pause in here and look at the code in detail. Take a pause. The entire code for this particular step until this step is available on GitHub in the code step6.md. So in 28 minutes, Java web application step by step and code step6.md. If you go in there, the entire code for this example is present. So you can take the code including the login.jsp and the welcome.jsp. So you can take the code, run it, and make sure that you understand every bit of it. Also, I recommend you to play around with it, try to change certain things and play around with it and see what you can learn from it. Good luck.